Amazing Lawrence Sperry. First Autopilot, Artificial Horizon, Turn Coordinator, Drone, and more. 1. Introduction. Lawrence Sperry, 1892 to 1923. Lawrence Sperry was the son of famous industrialist Elmer Sperry, the inventor of the gyroscopic compass and stabilizer for ships, among other inventions, and founder of the Sperry Gyroscope Company in Brooklyn, New York. He was tall, blonde, blue-eyed, married to a beautiful actress, a popular, dashing, daring pilot, and a natural mechanical genius, full of ideas, drive, enthusiasm, and perseverance like his father. Note: this book was a key resource for this video. Sperry designed and developed the first autopilot, Artificial Horizon, Turn Coordinator, the first drone, the first American parachute, and the first American sports aircraft. We will briefly look at each of these in this video. He had many other smaller inventions as well. Most of his work was done on early Curtiss biplanes, but these are not available in Microsoft Flight Simulator, so we'll take the later famous Curtiss JN4 Jenny. 2. Early life. 1892 to 1912. 1910 to 11. Former Sheepshead Bay Racetrack, Long Island, New York. Now housing. Lawrence Sperry was born in Chicago and later lived in New York City. He and his younger brother, Elmer Jr., were addicted to aviation, to the point that they built and flew a motorized glider here, just south of New York City, the first American-built tractor-type aircraft. The Sperry Brothers glider before the addition of a motor. Keuka Lake Airfield, New York. Now gone, an aviation museum is on site. Here, Sperry received formal pilot training at one of several flying schools run by famous pioneering aviator Glenn Curtiss, in a Curtiss Pusher biplane hydroplane and landplane. Sperry received pilot license number 11 from the Aero Club of America as a hydroplane pilot, the youngest pilot in America. The license was soon extended to all types of aircraft. Curtiss held license number 1. Learning to fly in a Curtiss hydroplane and landplane. Three. First Autopilot, 1913 to 14. Former Glenn Curtiss Flying School, North Island, San Diego, California. Birthplace of naval aviation, now part of KNZY Naval Air Station North Island, Halsey Field, freeware scenery. Here, Sperry worked for over a year, with much trial and error and scores of test flights on his gyroscopic stabilizer, fitted to a Curtiss Pusher C2 flying boat, to keep the aircraft automatically flying straight and level without pilot input. It utilized fast-spinning gyroscopes, driven by air. Connected to pneumatic valves that controlled servomotors connected by cables to ailerons, elevators, and rudder. The former Glenn Curtiss Flying School operated in the stretch of water, center, between what were then two islands. The causeway, center left, was built to join the two islands, and then the stretch of water was filled in during World War II to build the Naval Air Station on the top island. 1914. Bezins, Paris. Here, in front of huge, amazed crowds, Sperry demonstrated his gyroscopic stabilizer at the prestigious aeroplane safety competition, flying along the Seine River between the Bezins Bridge, directly ahead, and D'Argentois Bridge, further ahead in his Curtiss pusher flying boat. Sperry made several passes with his French mechanic, including standing in the cockpit with his hands raised, and he and his mechanic, alternatively and then together, standing out on the wing. The aircraft continued to right itself and fly straight and level. He won first prize and a large amount of money, beating scores of others. At the age of 21, he became an international star. France, Britain, and America all placed orders for numerous gyroscopic stabilizers. A few weeks later, World War I began. First Artificial Horizon and Turn Coordinator, 1915–17. Governor's Island, New York, and former Brooklyn Naval Yard, New York, now industrial area. When World War I started, Sperry couldn't enlist with the French Air Force because he was not a college graduate. He joined his father's Sperry Gyroscope Company, in charge of the new aeroplane department. But he was not content with just managerial work in an office. The Navy and Army made aircraft available for him at Brooklyn Naval Yard and Governor's Island. Using these, he developed an artificial horizon and turn coordinator for flying at night and in bad weather. He had many other lesser inventions as well. All this while regularly skylarking around New York. Governor's Island, New York. Former Sperry Gyroscope Company building, Brooklyn, New York. Directly ahead, red sign on top. Former Brooklyn Naval Yard. Sperry skylarking included flying under New York's Brooklyn Bridge. Aircraft instruments invented by Sperry in his Curtiss biplane hydroplane. First American sports aircraft and amphibious aircraft, 1918–20. Former Sperry Airfield and Factory, Farmingdale, Long Island, New York. Now subsumed by KRRG Republic Airport, freeware scenery. Sperry left his father's company and set up his own aircraft company with a large factory and airfield around here. An early success for Sperry was the development of a small single-seater biplane, the Messenger, for Army training and recreational use. Of course, it was fitted with Sperry instruments. Another success was the development for the Navy of an amphibious aircraft to operate from land and water. Sperry's successful Messenger aircraft. Around 40 were built. 6. First drone missile, 1922. Former 2nd Sperry Airfield, Amityville, Long Island, New York. Now residential area and parkland. Following years of secret development for the Navy, Sperry finally developed his aerial torpedo, a small unmanned aircraft based on his Messenger, controlled by autopilot and radio, to take off from a pneumatic catapult and hit a remote target with considerable accuracy. Sperry's aerial torpedo. During testing, he sometimes strapped himself to the fuselage, almost killing himself. 7. Final Flight and Legacy, 1923. On the 13th of December, 1923, at age 31, Sperry attempted to fly his messenger aircraft from England to Holland. He had been invited to show his messenger to the RAF in England. The Dutch and French then invited him to do the same. In foggy, freezing cold weather, his engine seized up, and despite a nice water landing, his aircraft sank to the top wing, and he likely suffered hypothermia and drowned. His aircraft was soon recovered, but his body was not found until almost 3 weeks later when it washed up on an English beach. Lawrence Sperry had secured around 23 patents, the foundation of every modern aircraft cockpit. He was inducted into the International Air and Space Hall of Fame in 1979 and the Naval Aviation Hall of Fame in 1992. After his death, Sperry's company was merged with his father's company. This went through many changes and became largely defunct in 1986. Sperry offshoots are now part of the likes of Honeywell, Lockheed Martin, Raytheon Technologies and Northrop Grumman. Pic shows Sperry and 4-year-old son, a few weeks before he crashed. 8. Lawrence Sperry antics. As well as his inventions, Sperry was also famous for his aviation antics. We have already mentioned his flying under the Brooklyn Bridge in New York. One notable example led to him becoming the unintended founder of the Mile High Club. After he was teaching a woman to fly, he accidentally nudged the autopilot off and crashed into a bay. Both were fished out of the bay, stark naked. Despite his strict Baptist upbringing, he had become a bit of a womanizer. To end this video, now enjoy some original live footage of other notable Sperry antics. Filling up his aircraft at a motor vehicle petrol station. Landing on a road and then taking off quickly pursued by a motorcycle policeman. Landing in front of the Capitol building in Washington, D.C., right on the steps, to protest unpaid bills by the Navy. Thanks for watching. Hope you liked.